Do you know I worked for the Guptas? Do you
Oh, yeah, I know. Oh, I know that. I know
okay,
that. Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Shame. So they used to call me Mzansi. That's how I got the name Zege Zege.
Oh, my,
Like, cover.
oh my goodness, like just remember that. I'm so sorry.
What an era. What an era.
Right, it's another edition of Pap Politics, and my next guest, you're really no stranger to this whole setup. I mean, it's been, 2 years?
Yeah.
Qaanitah Hunter, welcome. It is such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much for having me.
I mean, last time we spoke here, you were doing your master's, or you'd submitted your thesis.
Yes.
I think. You were fully employed with a news agency, right?
I got a salary on the 25th of the month. Oh,
Yes, yeah, exactly. You are a regular
oh, the
employee.
good old days.
But so much has happened. 'Cause now, I think not too long after that, I learned that, okay, you'd left. And then I'm seeing videos of you traveling and you're doing this and you're on TikTok and Let's start with a little update. What has Qaanitah Hunter been up to?
It's called burnout, Thabo. So I mean, I had last year taken this crazy decision to quit my full-time job. And it was not something, it was a mad decision because I was at the top of my career. I had worked really hard to build a career, a life, a job around political reportage, being, and a little bit trailblazery, I would like to think about, building that career. I was assistant editor for politics and opinion at News 24, and burnout whacked me. And I thought, there's two ways this ends. One, I'm going to have a meltdown and toss the table during a diary meeting. And no one wants to do that.
Yeah, you were going to become the story.
I would become the story.
Yeah.
That there would be some broken windows, or just to do what IT people always tell us to do, is to have you switched off the computer and restarted it. And that's what I did. And so the last year and a half has been crazy and mad and wonderful, and lots of learning about myself and about journalism. But I had actually left hoping not to return to journalism. I was like, I'm done with this. Have you ever felt this thing of when you love something and it doesn't love you back?
No, trust me, tell me about it. I've tried Tinder, I know.
I haven't, but I hear unrequited love is a real thing.
Yeah.
But that's how I felt about journalism. I had to restart in some ways. I had to get back to myself in some ways. And now, I mean, it's like, I don't know, journalism. You can't run away.
You can't. It's like a bug, and you just can't. There's no vaccine for it.
Not at all.
And but what do you mean? You felt like it didn't love you back? I mean, like you said, you were at the top of your game. You had some of these people, some of the most high-profile people, on speed dial. You are breaking these big stories. You're writing books. What do you mean it didn't love you back? Do you mean in how you managed, or how you didn't manage?
Yeah. So Thabo, I don't know if you know this, that I started chasing Zuma when I was 17, 18 years old.
Oh, yeah, you were a teenager. Yeah, you told me that. Yeah.
And then I became an editor at 26. And so I don't think we talk about when you are cognitively ready for something versus being emotionally ready for something, right? And I don't think I was emotionally ready for the responsibility, for the go of, like, what was it, almost 15 years, right? I have an incredible career. I've had amazing opportunities. But what I didn't do is I didn't live. I didn't come to work as it been one thing I do in my life. Work was my entire life, which made me very good at my job. And as a result, the 5 best years of my life, books, awards, promotions of my career, part of my life, was probably the 5 worst years of my life personally. I had lost both my parents. I had gone through a divorce. I had mad personal things happening at a time. And it creates this almost schizophrenic divide between all of these good things that are happening, all of these bad things that are happening. But the thing is, what we don't talk about as journalists is that the price of what we do, right? I have always had work ethic. It takes, you know what it is to be in the media space. You need to have a work ethic that is unparalleled, because that's the only thing, no matter how good you are, no matter how connected you are, the thing that sets you apart is a mad work ethic. That's why you at work at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
That's why I'm taking meetings at 7 a.m. in the morning, why I'm responding to emails at 10 p.m. It's just, and it's also a little bit, I think, lauded. It's like celebrated. Oh, crazy busy. Everybody's hustling. Everybody's doing things. And we don't understand the price of it. And I think that month before elections last year, I mean, I had written a very successful book. We had done great election debates. We had set up a good team. It was like almost like, wow, Mama, I made it. But Mama didn't make it because Mama was struggling with insomnia. She was, my health was in a terrible place. My mental health was just in the dog box. And I thought, right, let's shut it down.
Wow. My condolences on the loss of your parents. And I can imagine work does become like the focus of your life, and it becomes easier to kind of throw yourself into it, But, with that being said, you decided, okay, I needed to change. Fast forward, cut to now. You've written a brand new book, and,
Off brand.
I'm so, I did notice. I went, oh, okay. Okay, I noticed that.
You gotta give it to me for range.
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely.
Ramaphosa, chick flick romance.
I love it for you. But why did you decide to do something like that? Was it something kind of cathartic? Because, like you said, you didn't really get to live your life. It was almost like a plug and play situation. So
Yeah.
you missed certain phases that I feel like were due to you as a young woman.
Yeah. Do you know I worked for the Guptas?
I know. Oh, I know that. I know that. Oh,
okay.
yeah.
So when I used to work for the Guptas, I used to take a taxi from Joburg to Midrand to work.
The Joburg CBD.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now, shame. So they used to call me Mzansi. That's how I got the name Zege Zege.
Oh my,
I covered.
oh my goodness! Like, just remember that. I'm so sorry.
What an era. What an era. So they would make me sit in the front of the taxi because, like, out of respect, I'm this little girl who wore hijab in the taxi, Joburg CBD. So I'd sit in the front.
Sure.
But then with sitting in the front, you had to count the money, which was a terrible thing to do, right?
Yeah.
But you know that the taxi will not leave unless the taxi is full.
Yeah.
Like, that was just the thing. So I had this like hour and a half every morning of a commute that I had to take. And so I had this like little tiny iPad, and then I would write this fictional story, right? And I would post it on a blog. I was 19 or whatever, I was young. And then suddenly this blog just popped off to the point that we'd get like 2 million monthly readers.
Wait, is this Diary of a Gucci Girl?
Girl.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Do you know that era?
Yes, of course. Are you
Right.
kidding? Yeah.
I did everything I can to kill that era because I was like, I'm a serious political journalist.
Oh, of course.
I am going to redefine journalism, not for South Africa, but the African continent. Da, 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 da.
And the subtext is basically, I have no personality. Let's be honest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And remember, you see what I love about Gen Zs, I'm terrified of them, right? But what I love about them is that they don't have the hang-ups we have around the multiplicity of personalities and interests. And you can be a lawyer, but then you have a postcard collection. Like, that didn't exist for us when you're trying to break it like 15 years ago, where you're trying to break in. If you want to be a political journalist, that's all you are.
Yeah.
And you do everything to do that, It was probably harder for the generation before us, but I think what I love when I see these young kids, they're just like, oh, it's never that deep. I'm like, girl.
Yep. I mean, you're covering like elections, and then there's the next post is you having martinis with your friends.
The strap. I'm just like, what?
Yep. That is so true.
But so I had this like bucket list of things, and Thabo, like, the thing about me is that I'm very intentional about what I do. I am very I'm mad about it. I do things because I want, like, I'm very deliberate about the things that I do. I'm not one of those people that are like just like fumbling through life. I'm very deliberate. I'm like Delulu on a big level. Like, this is what we're going to do. This is how and I've always been like that. And so fiction is something I love so deeply with that experience that got published in a book. And I always said, when I retire one day and have a house on the garden route, I even know where I'm going to have the house.
You go.
In Kleinkrans. But it was like this obsession of like meeting this bucket list for my career. And then to some degree, the bucket list was done. You've interviewed the world leaders, you've written the books, you've traveled to the places, and you're like, what are you, like who am I? Who's Qaanitah Hunter? What do I like to do? I don't even know what I like to do. Like, what are my interests? Am I really a morning person? Damn it, I thought I was like this minimalistic, I am like this monk-like, I don't like the world. Meanwhile, I'm a shopaholic. I just lie to myself all this time.
Yeah, of course.
But so a lot of it in the time after leaving the newsroom full time, I still had to stay in journalism because no trust fund.
Yeah, we're not Kardashians. We need to work.
There's no yacht in the south of France.
Yeah,
but actually trying really hard to figure out what comes next for me. I don't have any other marketable skills. I always wanted to be a journalist from the time I was 6 years old. So like, I tried really. I'm like, manual labor is not for me.
Yeah.
I don't think manual labor is for you also.
Oh, absolutely not. No, sorry. Give me something else. No.
We'll talk for a living. We'll do
Please,
that.
yeah.
We'll do that. So then it was, what are the things that I've always wanted to do, but never had the time or never didn't allow myself the luxury to do. And revisiting fiction was one of it. But also not revisiting fiction and writing fiction for the sake of it. I almost had like the story in me, and it's not my story because the book Why Am I Like This is not my story, right? But it was the culmination of years of vulnerabilities and grief and trauma and also like laughter and jokes and growth that I didn't know where to house and I've never ever spoke about.
Yeah.
The thing I really, really, really don't speak about is like a dramatic weight loss journey that I had encountered, right? Because I'm just like, please don't talk to me about it. Like it was just for me a hard thing to talk about.
I can imagine, and obviously we noticed, but then
Yeah,
I know.
don't talk about it.
As somebody who's also going through that, I had to, I know.
Can I ask you this, right?
Yeah.
When you are confident, successful, being overweight is not the same experience as someone who has not. Like, it's almost like it's a badge of honor, or it's like the price of your success. Do you feel like that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pretty much. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Like, it's a like, you can't have it all, my guy.
Yeah.
So, okay, if you're going to be fat, okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah, that is true. That is actually that's pretty much it.
And then it doesn't help when you're also a confident person. Like, I was 150 kilos. I was doing interviews. I was sitting in, like, I didn't care about how I looked aesthetically. So my experience was not an experience of people who were like, that those shows that like, oh, I was unconfident. But then, like, for me, it was like, it was 5 to death when you're 150 kilos. This is a heart attack. You're 25 years old. You are working yourself to the bone. You like 2 steady stumpies and a packet of tumbles is not breakfast.
Oh.
You laughing because you know that life.
Yes.
You know that. You know the garage life, the garage pie life.
I'm sorry. Would you have the cherry stuffy?
Listen. You think that's crazy? You know, when I was at the Sunday Times, right, and I was in the depth of political reporting.
Yeah.
And then these politicians would meet you at like these very, very fancy like lounges,
of course,
with their whiskeys, right? And I'd just be like, "Can I have a chocolate milkshake?"
You can't imagine ordering a chocolate milkshake
while discussing state capture.
That is funny. Oh, that is funny.
We've loved.
And I'm sure they actually like, okay, wow, this is the tough dog that's gonna interrogate us, like that's gonna, wow, okay, I can imagine. Yeah, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
So what I had these like big emotions and nuance, because remember, what is the conversation? The pendulum swings with you're unhealthy, fitness, we must all be running a marathon. No, I hate it. I don't want to be training for comrade. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the other side of it is like body positivity. You can't tell me how I look, but actually you bring yourself through an enormous amount of distress at 151 kilos, right? So they had, in the public domain, it's like, it's either this fat phobic, obsessive, wellness obsessed crew, and then the other side, it's like, embrace how you are, even if you're killing yourself slowly. So I think when it clicked for me to say, girl, you can't climb a flight of stairs, this is not cute, I then sought to fetch myself. But I did it how I do anything in my career, how I write a book, how I threw myself in it. I threw money at the problem, and I just went for it. Every doctor, every diet, like I was saying to someone the other day, I went to like, for many, many months, I was like in an AA program. It was not an AA program, but like an AA program that a psychologist convened for people with food addictions. And I'm like, what I did with, and I steeped myself in research and knowledge, and that's the only way my brain works. Some people, it's not that way, right?
Yeah.
But I had this, I mean, the nuance of people treating you terribly because you're overweight, and then you lose weight and people treat you nicely, but you don't feel better about yourself. You're like, what's going on? The complexities around not caring, like for a lot of people, it's, you're deliberately obese. It's like, it's you just don't care enough about yourself. You don't love yourself enough in some ways. And as soppy as that sounds, it's just the reality. And so I don't know what to do with all of these learnings, what to do with the complexities of grief, what to do with the complexities of loss of parent, of not like, so the story is not my story. I was like, I wish I was a 27-year-old Nepo baby living off my parents, or my mother at least.
Don't we all?
But I mean, I thought, to indulge myself in a way that like, have fun a little bit, but also honor this healing journey.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, it's very off-brand. What do you know me as?
Oh, yes, of course. The political reporter. You came with all the big stories and, your analyses, so but I also understand, you're exploring a side of you that you had suppressed. I feel like you had suppressed it
100%.
For a while. And so now, you do this book, and I can imagine there's a feeling of, I mean, I said cathartic, but I can imagine.
100% cathartic. And so what I also did was do what many of us childless people did, is be reckless with all the money you have and not save for a rainy day. And I traveled for 6 months.
Oh, yes.
And worked concurrently because, I mean, life, but I had amazing opportunities to sleep on friends' couches, to meet new people, to go to interesting places, to go to places that just like, not as a journalist, when you travel as a journalist versus you travel as a human, it's a very different experience.
Yeah.
To just really do things that are like, spend time on the garden route. When I reached my goal weight, I went paragliding. I did mad things, right? But then it landed me back at journalism this year in a different way, in a very, very different way. So what I love about that kind of 6-month period was it was kind of fetching myself, but not in a sad, miserable way of like because I had many sad, miserable moments in my life, in my journey of needing to get help and therapy, etc. But this was more like, okay, what can I be if I can be anything? And so when it landed me back in a newsroom, I was like, damn it. But it was also that clarity of I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing. And I am actually very, very, very grateful for the opportunity.
And now you're independent, you're your own boss.
Yeah.
And people now report to you now.
So there's multiple things, right? So I have the great fortune, and I'm super grateful to media houses and editors who have built relationships, who take my work when I have something to say. My column is still on News 24. I report for Newsroom Africa. You'll see me on TV every now and again.
I've seen a few of those, yes.
I will write features for Al Jazeera from Africa when they need me to, or when I'm in the mood to. But I'm also really, really focused on building the future, not like my media entity. That hasn't been my space this year. My space is Are we going to lump from one section 189 to the next as a media organization? Meaning newsrooms are going to get smaller, disinformation is going to get more, or we need to pioneer what the future of news looks like. I consume a lot of what you do on TikTok. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
But this is the question I ask myself. If we're all commenting on the news, who's reporting the news? You know what it takes to go and get that shot of Zuma being in court. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's expensive, it's timely, it's costly, right?
Yeah.
So if we all sitting and so traditional media is essentially is doing the real journalism for no audiences.
Yeah.
And then the social media creators have the audiences. So they steal the journalism and they disseminate it in a way. Now, I'm not saying anyone is better or worse. I'm saying there's definitely a problem. Media are not speaking to audiences in a way that they want them. That's why people are not tuning in to radio. People are not in a way that it used to be, or people are not buying newspapers. It's like, you're talking at me, you're not talking to me. So if Thabo, the content creator, is talking to me, I'm listening. And so then I started going down a path to say, what if you bring traditional journalistic practices to content creation? So you do real journalism through content, not commentary. There's a space for that, and there are people doing amazing things there. But my question is, if we all commenting on Joburg being clean, which we spoke about earlier, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to the council and checking where did they get this budget? And how much of violations of tenders processes is to
just so they can get all this done.
To get all. I'm saying it's a boring thing.
There's this vacuum. Absolutely,
yes.
You're right. Yeah.
So that's when I decided to spend my time, my energy, my money in building what I call a news creator program, which is to say, if people don't want. Okay, let's do this, right? I work for television, right? Mm-hmm. So how would I? 10 people have died and 4 people are injured. For more, we joined by the Ministry of the spokesperson. You lost my attention, my guy. Tell me what's the most important thing. Tell me now. Right? So there's a change in how we communicate as a society. Not only young people, because think about your own media habits. Think about where you get the news from.
Yeah, and how I consume it.
So and you are a news person. So you can't be pompous about it to say no, people must buy newspapers on a Sunday. No, they won't. Who are you?
Yeah.
And there's a whole generation where it's not even natural to them. They don't even know what it is.
They don't know what
it is to watch news at 8 p.m. on a Thursday evening.
It makes no sense.
After 7 Delan,
Right? And you complain to your grandmother, listen, there's generations at 8 and, there's a whole timetable, a schedule.
Yes.
Yeah. They don't know. They don't. Yeah.
So somebody has to solve for it. Let me tell you the good parts, and then we'll talk about the ugly parts. The good parts is that South Africa and Africa is a very talented space. We have enormous talent out there.
We do. We really
That's
do.
the first part. Secondly, we have content and news for days. So that's a gift that keeps on giving.
The telenovela South Africa?
100%.
Yeah.
Thirdly, I think that we have, as South Africa, a ripe media ecosystem for innovation and for change. What's the pitfalls? The pitfalls is someone who is a content journalist person must not be running a business. I have no business running a business, but in the absence of the jobs we want to do, we have to create those jobs.
Of course.
So that's the crappy part of it. Can I say crappy?
Yeah. Oh, trust me. You can even say even the mean ones.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's the hard part. The second part of it is I don't want to sound EFF-esque, but there's a problem with monopoly capital, right? Who are the podcast pros doing well? Where's capital going? Who are the media entities that are thriving? And it doesn't look like me. It doesn't look like you, and it doesn't look like me.
Yeah.
And that's the shitty part. So you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have financial backing, too bad. Then, this is the other bit. AI slop. Oh, everyone is up against this AI machine. And then there's everyone, then on the other side of it are the dinosaurs, which we're not going to name who they are in the industry, but are like, AI could never do what we're doing. No, it can. It may not do it as good as what we're doing, but it can do what we're doing.
Yeah.
So my entire message is, okay, if AI can do 60 to 70% of what you were trained to do as a professional journalist, how are you upskilling to do the things that AI can't do?
The shortfalls, yeah.
And what AI can't do is connect to people. Because people connect to people. People don't connect to brands. People do not connect people connect to stories. People connect to other people. So that's what you have. And that's how you have to leverage it. So the days of like, I'm a print journalist and I'm a radio journalist and I only mix sound. I don't even present. Those days are over. You do everything, my guy. Because technology carries the shortfall on so many other levels. Yeah. So as a news creator, you have to pitch, you have to ideate, you have to script, you have to shoot, you have to edit, you have to produce. That's just the world we live in. So are we going to wait for a whole lot of redundancies where we see it in the US? We see...
Washington Post, Wall Street Journal.
All cutting jobs like mad. Or we're going to say, right, let's upskill. And you know the cool thing about South Africans is that we're in permanent state of us bait. We can make a plan, so let's make the plan. So I'm very, very excited about the space that I'm in as the Debrief Network. Follow us. Can I plug myself?
Oh, yes, you do that. You do that, girl.
But so what I'm saying is that I'm a dinosaur. I come from newspaper. I come from television, right? I'm a dinosaur, but I'm a young dinosaur. I was a premature dinosaur. So what I can do is I can be the translator between what's new and what's old. And that's what I've been trying to do this year, is to say, the kids got the audience. And your journalist, you have two options, right? People are hungry. You can either obsess about creating 5 loaves of artisanal sourdough bread for 5 people, or we're going to mass produce, but we're going to try to mass produce quality bread.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if we have to reach audiences, you're going to have to be in spaces that you probably don't want to be. If we're all going to sit here and say, the financial model doesn't make sense, we got to fix the plane while in midair. We just got to do it. So last week we did some amazing training. We had Debrief Network had partnered with TikTok and we did some training for journalists. And there was a gentleman, wonderful, wonderful guy, really respectable, good at his job. He's like, where's the bar going to go? Are we going to have to do the news in our underpants? And I'm like, maybe.
Yeah.
But you're missing the point, is that you have to talk to people in ways that they want to hear you. And let me tell you, for 15 years, you did it in the opposite way. You were like, no, we're not going to talk to people in how they want us to talk. Think about how you want to be spoken to. We want to talk at people. People just switched off. So news avoidance is a real thing. Like you said, the Washington Post, democracy dies in darkness. I can bet my last $50 that Joburg is the way Joburg is today because of the decline of media representation, city-focused media representation. Yeah, we don't have the Star newspaper back in the day when I started as a journalist. I'm like, back in the day, I'm a dinosaur. But
you're quite young. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
But just the city, just the council beat was more than 20 people.
Wow.
You would be lucky if a major newsroom in South Africa, like the ones we work for, has one person focusing on city politics.
Just going to the council.
Just going to the council and telling you why what's happening is happening. We don't have that. And I'm like,
so sad.
If we are living the consequences, every time I drive this 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom potholes on Jan Smuts Highway in Joburg, I'm like, this is a journalistic failure because leaders know, and at the end of the day, no disrespect to MacG, but politicians are not giving serious journalist interviews. They're going where the audiences are.
Yeah.
And sometimes our colleagues in the entertainment space, maybe not, I'm taking a dig at your colleagues, but you can take a dig at me later, is that they don't have the journalistic prowess and instinct to ask the hard questions.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of accountability that's just dying because of this rapid change. And you're up against the algorithm every day. What What trends today is not what trends tomorrow.
Yeah.
But honestly, who's doing the public service job of telling Makoko that what are the changes in SASA? Or why you must care about Sudan?
Yeah. My grandmother has this thing where they have this. So they're fighting against. Well, there's something going on with in my community, my grandmother's community, with like the electricity and the sewage, and she has to rely on a neighbor who gets information from somebody else. And somehow there was like this trickle down effect because she was watching the news, and that's how she found out what was happening. But it speaks to your point that there is nobody really talks to the people about things that should affect them. But they don't have journalists that go, okay, well, let's talk about what's happening in the city. Let's talk about what's
No,
happening.
but not. Let's take your call. Say everything was great.
Yeah.
And she had a television, and she had a television, and she had Wi-Fi now. Okay, even Wi-Fi is a stretch. But say she had electricity. She was able to watch the news every day. Think about how it's communicated to her. Think about. Okay, let me ask you this. What's going to come from the G20? You a news engaged person. Tell me.
I have no idea.
You a news engaged.
Honestly.
You a news engaged person.
I don't know.
You are a person who are in the thick of it every day, and because it's noise, it's not news.
Yeah.
Mkwanazi, ad hoc, da. Actually, guys, we need to have a conversation about whether our law enforcement laws, the laws itself that create these entities that end up becoming rogue, if itself is a problem. No one wants to have those boring conversations.
Nobody's having.
Because what? All the nuance is lost because we're chasing 80 seconds. 80 is a stretch. We're chasing 60 seconds.
Yeah. That is true.
Oh, look, I can go on for hours. Welcome to the
Please.
church.
Please. And okay, and
I'm an evangelical pastor about this.
you really do. And look, you've said a mouthful, and it's all very, very true. And I love how you said you want to be the translator between like the old and the new. And you're young enough, and you're able to kind of utilize what you've learned into this new echo chamber of what we call media now. But I also wanted to ask you something, and it's completely off topic. I remember somebody, in fact, I feel like one of the original digital storytellers, Yusuf Omar.
Yes.
He posted something, it was Arthur Zoran Ramdani one.
Yes.
And he was like, listen, like every Muslim person is so happy, right? You'll never understand. If you're not Muslim, you won't know why this is such a big deal. I mean,
Yeah.
and I wanted to ask your opinion on it because I remember you've posted a few stories on Zoran Ramdani's victory.
The world is in a mad state of extremes, right? 10 years ago in the woke Me Too movement phase, we never imagined that we would get back to this crass, right-wing, white male kind of domineering the world. We don't care.
Yeah.
We like a swear word is diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's the swear
used to
word
insult
of
people.
2025.
Yeah, it's used now. It's
You're
the new
too
N-word.
woke.
Somebody said it's the new N-word.
Yeah. And it's extreme and it's crazy and it has to do with, I mean, we can talk about capitalism but essentially it's the new oligarchs. It's the new, remember, the post World War II order doesn't exist anymore because it doesn't serve us. That where we all decided, guys, we can't be killing each other. We need to have a rules-based order. We need to have a United Nations. We need to have international law. That era is gone. It's like survival of the fittest, survival of the rich, not survival of the fittest, survival of the richest, and everyone else be damned.
And their proximity to it, yeah.
And so, also, I say this: if state capture was in South Africa was the better phase of cutting out the middleman in grand corruption, what's happening in the Trump administration is like the full-blown 2.0 version of remember, why do I have to prop up a politician as a corrupt, power-hungry, rich man when I can just have the power?
Yeah.
Why do I have to quietly influence the power when I can just have the power? So what Mamdani represents is firstly a huge shift in the real world, that most people are young. Gen Zs have we laugh and we're like, these people eat avotoast because no, it's not even avotoast. They drink matcha now. 80, 90 rand matcha. I'm side-eyeing all you Cape Town
Tastes
people.
horrible, by the way. I'm sorry.
Grass, but
Of course.
a cup of grass, a 90 rand cup of grass. But the point is that because you have no options and you're up against no one wants to really talk about it. I sat with Professor Joseph Stiglitz last week. And he's a Nobel laureate, amazing economist, just incredible about inequality and there's realities of life that how in 2025 with the amount of technology that you have, did you still have 2 famines in 2025, 2 in the world? Are you mad, right? And so there's this thing of it's not a rebellion against a politician, but it's or we're voting him out and voting him in. What Mamdani suggests is a rewriting of the rules. It's the same way the Gen Z protests in Nepal and Bangladesh and Madagascar. It was not like the Arab Spring uprisings that we don't like Morsi, we don't like Mubarak, we like Morsi. That's not it. It's listen, the whole system doesn't work for us. We're shutting the house down, which is scary but also interesting because now nobody knows what's to come. Nobody knows what a 24-year-old social democrat who's promising cheaper. It's radical. It's radical in so many ways. And then also, it's insane for those of us who have lived in a post 9/11, grew up in a post 9/11 world. To just be in New York, my guy.
Of all places.
Yeah. But also, it's the audacity. But let me tell you a segue on Mamdani. So everybody's the names is Mamdani, whatever, right?
Oh, yeah.
The social media campaign has been amazing. Obviously, so he fed into a social media beast.
Yeah.
He also fits the part. He has riz for days. What do they call it? What do the kids call charisma? Riz.
It is riz.
I'm anti Q using a word wrong.
It is riz. Yeah, it is riz. Yeah.
So he has that, and so cool for him.
Yeah.
But what it is that it's that you don't have to play by the rules. The rules hasn't served anybody. Let's rewrite the rules. Yeah. The thing about Mamdani is that he doesn't have a rags to riches story. He's a rich guy.
I mean, his mom has an Oscar. She's a film director. His dad's a professor.
You know, I have had a crush on his dad, intellectual crush, let me say,
okay.
on Mahmoud Mamdani from the time I was 16 years old. He had written some of the the most comprehensive pieces of writing on the Rwandan genocide, when victims become killers. One day when you have time, read that book. He has been a thought leader. He was professor at UCT. I remember in 2014 or 2015, I was in Senegal at a conference and Mahmoud Mamdani was presenting a paper there. And I was working at the Mail and Guardian and I had to make up an excuse to interview him. I tried to interview him about a xenophobia in South Africa just because I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But
you do what you have to do.
But let me tell you, the thing is, in that era of Mahmoud Mamdani, it was you had to be an anomaly, trailblazer, hyper-intellectual. You have to publish 100 books and papers to be the one guy the one brown guy from Africa who got a seat at the table,
of course.
Right?
Yeah.
2025, there's no seat for me, right? We'll create another room.
Yeah.
And then when we create our other meeting room, everybody wants to come to that meeting room because it's damn cooler than anything else that was created. And so I think that's what the cultural moment of the Zoran Mamdani mayoral win in New York means. I think that it also is the pendulum swinging from one extreme to it has so that the reset can happen.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with you because I feel for me it was when France, when Marine Le Pen, the opposition leader of France, she won more seats than Emmanuel Macron in the EU elections. That signaled to me, okay, the world is kind of moving quite right.
Yeah.
And then the Trump victory sealed it for me.
Yeah.
And then now...
No, there's so many. Hungary. Yeah. But I'm saying there has to be a resistance that comes, right? And obviously in the US, in the Democrats. I mean, we can talk about U.S. politics for a long time, but essentially, it's like it's an old playbook that was just not working because that old playbook is elitist. Like I'm talking about the Democrat playbook, elitist, disdainful in some way. And then Mamdani comes to the scene, and a lot of the Democrats were actually uncomfortable with him because there's this term in the US called PEP, Progressive Except Palestine, and Mamdani was like, that's the easy way to not get elected, to wear your solidarity for Palestine, especially in the US, especially in New York. Yeah. And he was just like, no, my bruv, like it's a genocide. And I thought that was absolutely fascinating to see how that played out. It also emboldens a generation of younger leaders. Remember what the cultural moment of the Obama win meant for the world, right?
Of course,
so I think this is not the same, not exactly the same, because the world is not the same. But I'm saying in terms of significance, I think it has the same significance. The other thing that's quite interesting for me is how younger people engage with politics. So voter apathy is a worldwide problem. So there's a decline in democracy in the sense that people are opting out of democracy. Think about the last elections in South Africa, lowest vote to turnout in a long time. And so people are just like, no, there's no answer for me here. And then what scares me then is that you disengage from politics, so then the political norms and standards don't mean anything to you. Then you have what you have in Nepal, what you had in Nepal, what you had in Bangladesh, what you had in Madagascar, etc. Even Morocco to some bits. It's like it takes one little thing to say, okay, fine, we're moving on, we're making a plan, even though with your corruption and no electricity. But then there's a level of arrogance of the political elite that just says to these kids, "Noch nooit." And I think that I'm following it quite interestingly in terms of seeing how that manifests itself. We have not seen good examples of mass protests actually resetting politics in a positive way. But I do think that there's a conversation that has started around what if we just rewrite the rules altogether?
Wow, okay, that's interesting. I mean, you've said quite a mouthful, especially about Mamdani, because I think aspects that I honestly hadn't considered, but he really is like almost like a shapeshifter of politics at this point. But Qaanitah, thank you so much for coming. I really, really appreciate it. Good luck with the sale of your book.
Thank you.
It sell like hotcakes.
Like Ozempic.
Like Ozempic, yes. Oh my goodness, that's a good one.
So the tagline for the book is that it's a novel in a time of Ozempic therapy and situationships.
It's actually, I should have said that, yeah. May it sell like Ozempic, honestly. I mean, I can imagine it's going to be quite a read. And good luck with the Debrief Network. You're doing incredible work. We still need news, We still need news done in a very, very constructive way and a palatable way for audiences.
But also to have conversations like these are so important. Again, talking to each other. I've always appreciated your work.
Thank you.
In not the temptation not to fall for the clickbait, to actually have meaningful conversations. Yeah. It's easier to fall for the rage baiting, clickbaiting.
So true. Yeah.
But to actually have meaningful platforms, I think it's phenomenal.
Thank you.